Hey guys, it's Rich with another Tarot Talk video. I'm going to be doing a deck review on the Bluebird Lenormand deck. Yes, it's titled Tarot Talk Videos, but you know what? Lenormand, it's a deck, so I'm going to review it before I end up packing it away in my stuff to go on to Florida. One thing I do want to say is about this box. My cards usually don't live in boxes. Whenever I get them, they usually end up in a bag or something like that, a box, like a tarot box itself, a wooden box, and maybe they end up in one of these little tiny bowl type box things, but they usually end up in something like that. They usually don't end up going back in one of these boxes. But the one thing I will say about this box before I go on, and I know I've rambled for half a minute just talking about a stupid box. This box is hard to open. So whenever you get it, it will be hard to open. This is the Gypsy Witch fortune telling deck that I did another video on. You might see it after this video, you might see it before, I don't know. Anyway, the thing about this box is it has a little place where you can, start to open it. This one does not come with that, so it makes it difficult to open this box. So, just a little thing to keep in mind whenever you're purchasing a deck is if it has that little thing on there, that might make it easy or difficult for you to open that box. So, this flip-top box, if you do keep your decks in their original packaging, might be difficult, might break down after a while. Trying to open and close it and whatnot, might tear, all that stuff. So, enough on a little box. This deck does come with a little book, which is pretty darn helpful as far as learning Lenormand. I've never dealt with Lenormand. This is my first and only actual Lenormand deck. I'm kind of excited to try to learn it. I do a Lenormand style of tarot reading that I've done twice before. Two of you out there who may or may not be watching this video have received those readings in a Lenormand style, where I use the Grand Tableau style of Lenormand with tarot cards. So anyway, this does give some good information on it. I do want to delve more into reading about Lenormand, reading about how to interpret it and whatnot. But basically, it's supposed to be pretty straightforward with its meaning. So once I memorize that, then I might actually do Lenormand style readings. But until then, I'm not offering those up because I'm not confident enough in it for myself to even give myself a reading. And plus, it takes forever to read Lenormand for me. Tarot, I can breeze through it. The same spread doing Lenormand as I do with tarot might go from being an hour with a tarot reading to like a 3-hour or more Lenormand reading. So very tedious, very time consuming with me and Lenormand. A couple things about the cards now that I've talked about the box and the little pamphlet, and I'm already halfway through what I would like to allot for time space. The back of the card is very ornate-ish, but also very plain. So, I mean, it's a nice balance. It's a nice back to the card. I know some people out there really like a good card backing. The cards are a little on the thicker side. They're a little bit more difficult to actually shuffle if you do the bridge shuffle. So that's one thing that you might want to keep in mind as far as the cards themselves is the thickness. If you do a lot of bridge shuffling, some people, they just shuffle like this, and that's fine too. If that's what you do, then you probably won't have a problem shuffling these. I have a normal size playing card. They are just slightly smaller than a normal size playing card. Let's see if I can get a close up here. There. It is just a little smaller by just a fraction of an inch smaller than a normal playing card. So if you can shuffle a deck of playing cards easily, then the only thing that will stop you from shuffling these the same exact way is the thickness of the cards. So anyway, let's go ahead and bring you down so I can show you the cards and explain a little bit about them and whatnot. So with these, there is a little bit of gloss, a little bit of a glare that may come through. I'm going to try to keep that down to a minimum. There's no gilding, so if you like a nice gilding, this doesn't have it. I personally am not a huge fan of gilding cards, so yeah, it really doesn't matter either way to me, but I prefer no gilding. The cards themselves, and I'm just going to start flipping through them. If you want to read some of the phrases, I don't know how well they're going to come through. But each one of these has a little phrase that will kind of help you with determining the meaning of the cards. I love the artwork on these. I think the artwork is pretty realistic for the most part. The little meaning here, the little blurb that it has here, isn't necessarily the meaning itself, but it's like a little poem that will kind of help you understand the meaning of the Lenormand card and what it is supposed to represent. So that might help you if you're like me and just beginning to work with Lenormand. Like I said, I have only worked with Lenormand very sparingly, and this is my first deck. I have not gotten a chance to really go through and study it to the full extent that I would like to, and hopefully in the future I will be able to do that. But I do love, again, about this little blurb, I do love the beauty of some of the poetry in this. I think it's absolutely phenomenal poetry for little tiny blurb poetry. Not like it's not an epic poem by any means, but it is a nice little blurb that will help you determine the meaning. So, like I said, not really a it's not going to be a life-changing poem, but it is something that, you know, if you want a little poem in your life, you can probably connect with it pretty easily and have it as something little to feed your soul throughout the day. So, something to keep in mind about the poetry. The artwork, like I said, is very realistic. I love realistic artwork. I think it just helps with a deck, especially if you are first starting out learning with a deck. I think that realistic artwork really helps out with that. So that is it. That is all of the cards. If you study Lenormand, you know there are 36 of them. So yeah. Not a full playing card deck, but very intriguing, as I've never really dealt with Lenormand. It's a very intriguing type of study, and I just really want to get into it more and more. Still have a place in my heart for tarot, but Lenormand is a lot of fun. It can be very serious, very gossip-driven, and I also want to say that if you do any type of fictional writing, this might actually be something that helps with your fictional writing. I know that with tarot cards you can do some fictional writing prompts and whatnot, but try it with Lenormand and see how you like that, or see if it works for you. It might actually help you develop your plot lines if you do some writing like that. Anyway, I might speak on that in another video. So that is the Blue Bird Lenormand. A good deck. I think you can pick it up for, what did I pick this up for? I think it was less than $10 on Amazon Prime. I think it was worth it if you're starting out studying Lenormand. I wouldn't go for the decks that don't have any words, that, you know, have kind of okay artwork. I wouldn't go for those for starting out. I would definitely go with something that kind of sparks in your mind what the meaning of the card is. But that is just me, and that is my preference. So if that is not your preference, then, well, you do you, boo. So that is all that I have for the Bluebird Lenormand. Like I said, I think you can pick it up fairly cheap, and if that's something that you want to study, I'd say go for it. Until next time, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.